Tonight, Tri-State Trusted News brings you team coverage as the Supreme Court sides with South Carolina to let states stop covering Medicaid patients' Planned Parenthood visits. And this year marks 3 years since the High Court threw out Roe v. Wade. How the Tri-States have become a battleground for abortion, and why one of the last safe havens for the procedure in the Midwest could be in danger. Straight ahead.
The most trusted news from the Tri-State starts now.
The U.S. Supreme Court ruling today that states can block Planned Parenthood from using Medicaid funds to cover health care services. This isn't the first time action on Capitol Hill threatened the organization's access to public money. Senator Josh Hawley spoke to me about legislation he introduced with a similar goal back in January, to which Planned Parenthood responded.
First of all, it's been the long-standing rule that we've all agreed on for many years, bipartisan, which is that whatever your position is on abortion, we shouldn't be using taxpayer money to fund abortion. And we should put in place this long-standing rule: you don't use taxpayer money to pay for abortions.
What I really hope Senator Hawley understands is that these actions are would negatively impact the tens of thousands of Missourians who rely on Planned Parenthood for their essential health care services.
The latest effort to defund Planned Parenthood. Supreme Court justices ruled that states are allowed to strip the organization of access to Medicaid funds. Missouri is one of 3 states that already does so.
In Missouri, we are no stranger to these attacks. And in fact, the Missouri Supreme Court has already ruled twice that these defunding efforts that specifically target Planned Parenthood are unconstitutional. We will continue to provide the high quality care that Missourians expect and rely on from Planned Parenthood health centers.
Taxpayer dollars already can't be used for abortions, but this ruling puts the vast majority of Planned Parenthood's care options at risk. According to their 2024 annual report, almost $700 million of Planned Parenthood's revenue came from Medicaid. Of the 9.1 plus million services offered by the organization from 2022 to 2023, over half were STI tests and treatment. 24% were contraceptive services. Cancer screenings and prevention made up another 5%. And abortion is among the least provided health care services, according to the data, at just 4%.
I think what folks get wrong is thinking about healthcare, sexual and reproductive healthcare, not as a part of, the regular healthcare frame, because that's what it is. Sexual and reproductive healthcare is essential healthcare for basically anybody.
This week marks 3 years since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, ending the constitutional right to an abortion and pushing the decision back to the states. Our Cassie Shoney now takes a look at where those services are in the Tri-States.
Abortion access in the Tri-States is changing dramatically, and it couldn't be more different across state lines. In Iowa, abortion is illegal once a fetal heartbeat is detected, as early as 6 weeks, a time when most wouldn't even know they're pregnant yet. There are exceptions for documented rape, incest, and the safety of the mother. There's a mandatory 24-hour waiting period between consultation and the procedure itself. And for minors, in most cases, they'll need parental consent. Missouri's situation is a little more muddled. The state's gone from a near total abortion ban in the past year to voters fully protecting those rights through Amendment 3. Then lawmakers called to repeal and overwrite that decision.
You want to overturn the will of the people because you didn't like the result?
Now the Missouri Supreme Court's brought the state back to a total abortion ban, except to save the mother's life.
When will they listen to us? Where there are pregnant people, there has to be abortion, or people die, people suffer.
Now, I've heard a lot of talk that this is overturning the will of the people, when in fact, we want to give it back to the people.
Now, Illinois is the odd man out, codifying abortion protections until the 3rd trimester, mandating insurance coverage for it, and protecting patient confidentiality, even for minors, and shielding providers from out-of-state investigations. Planned Parenthood says restrictions in other states are putting a strain on Illinois clinics, causing a 47% increase in abortions since Roe was overturned. 25% of that is from out-of-state patients. But now, as the federal government looks to cut Medicaid reimbursements, leaders worry it could force closures or raise costs in one of the last safe havens for the procedure in the Midwest. I'm Cassie Shoney with Tri-State Trusted News.